Morning YouTube, Dave here, back out on Dartmoor again. Today I've bought a new backpack, and when I say new, I mean old. It's vintage actually. I bought it at boot fair last weekend. £3 it cost me, and I thought I'll buy that, take it out for a walk on Dartmoor and see if it's any good. It certainly won't be replacing my budget Kitter backpack that I did a review on the other week, my day pack. I'm still looking for a replacement for that, but this might solve my issue of finding a backpack that I can get all of my camping gear in, if it's comfortable enough to walk in. So I'm going to put it through its paces today to give it a real test. I'm taking it up to the highest point on Dartmoor, High Willhays. We've been there before on my second video, but I thought what better way to test a new / old backpack than by taking it up to the highest point on the moors. Should only be a couple of hours walk, but it should be enough to determine whether or not I like this backpack and whether or not this backpack will work for me. I have to say, so far it's surprising me. I've not come very far from the car park, been walking for about 10 minutes or so, and it's actually pretty comfortable so far. It's a lot lighter than it looks, but then I haven't got all my camping gear and stuff in it yet. It's a Citizen backpack, I don't know the model name. It's got an external aluminium frame, which is very lightweight but very bulky. However, it's good for strapping stuff too. You can strap like your tent and your roll mat to the outside rather than having to put them in the pack itself. So that saves space in the backpack, which is pretty spacious, it must be said, inside. Today's really just a test of how it feels walking with it and whether or not I feel I could do a decent amount of miles if I'm hiking to a campsite with it or not. The top of this hill doesn't seem to be getting much closer, but up to now it's felt like we're making pretty good progress so far. The pack's a bit heavier than my usual day pack, but it's not kind of noticeably heavy, I wouldn't say. It's just heavier. But the really annoying thing is the bulkiness and the noise it makes, which you can probably hear through the microphone. Is the noise it makes when you're walking. It's kind of this metallic jingle almost. But we're getting there. It's fairly comfortable actually. It's a lot more comfortable than it looked before I put it on, if that makes sense. And it's definitely not as heavy as it looks. It's just a bit bulky and wide. You wouldn't want to do any actual climbing in it. Yeah, it's fine on a day like today where you can just walk to High Willhays, there's no scrambling involved. But on some of the tours, Great Staple Tour I'm thinking, when I kind of did the climbing to get up on top, you wouldn't want to do that with this on your back, because it feels like it would be throwing you off balance and getting caught on rocks and stuff like that. But for hiking it's fine so far. I'm not that far into the walk yet. Oh, we've made the top of the hill. That's Westmill Tor just back there. We've been up there before. We've already gone past Row Tor, which is back over there. East Mill Tor is down there, where I went on last week's video. And this is actually Dinger Tor Road. If I kept following it all the way down, I didn't walk along this part last video. Well, I did, but I walked it on the way back. And I think I probably stopped filming by then. But it's it's an area that we've already done around here. But like I say, this video is more just for testing the backpack, just to see if it will work for when I do want to go camping. So far it's looking promising, although it might feel different when it's fully loaded with camping gear. But I would think that when I do start camping up on the moor, I probably won't be hiking much further than the hike up to High Willhays, for any of my initial camps at least. I won't be hiking right out into the middle of the moor. So if it can make this hike, then it should be able to make my the hike to my campsite. If I start doing a few more camps and I start getting a bit more used to it, then I'll probably get a nicer bag for it, to be honest. But like I say, this was £3 from a boot fair, so you can't really say no to that, can you? I'm just going to follow this trail all the way underneath Yes Tor, up between Yes Tor and High Willhays, and then should come out on the ridge line between the two highest tours on Dartmoor, and we'll just turn left and head across the top of the ridge to High Willhays. And that's the only tour I'm doing today. So after that, we'll be back down towards the car. There's a big herd of cows up here, munching away, having their breakfast. There's one on his own, he's been left behind. But look at them, loads of them up here. We're ploughing through the miles this morning and it's gorgeous weather for it as well. It's rained in the night, but it's beautiful now. Well, so far so good with the backpack. We're on the steepest portion of the climb now. This is the section that goes up between Dartmoor and High Willhays. We've got Dartmoor over there, High Willhays up there, and this bit's always a little bit of a lung buster. It's the steepest part of the trail, but we're handling it okay. The bag's doing well, so it's looking good. What's not looking quite so good is the amount of clouds coming in, and they're quite dark ones as well. So I was only saying, what, about 15 minutes ago, that the weather's glorious, and it's not quite so glorious anymore. But there's still patches of sun. One of them's about to hit me now, so there are gaps in the clouds still. It's just yeah, looking ahead, there's a lot of grey cloud. Wind's going left to right here, south to north, but yeah, there's a lot of grey clouds in the direction that it's coming from. But I should only be, I reckon, about 15 minutes from the summit now, and I'm heading straight back. I've not got loads of other tours to do. Not a long walk today. Oh, well, the steepest bit's almost done. The steepest portion of the steepest bit we've got past. So we're nearly up at the top. Dartmoor, just up there. Lots of sheep down the side of it. Oh, it doesn't feel too bad on my back, you know. I was expecting it to feel a lot worse than this. Well, we're nearly there now. The summit cairn at the top of High Willhays has just popped into view over the horizon. We've almost made it. Well, once again, as with the walk out to Dartmoor, the wettest part of the walk is on top of the hill, which you wouldn't really expect, would you? But it doesn't matter. We're pretty much here now. There's the summit cairn just in front. Rather majestic looking crow sat on top of it at the moment. Well, here we are, here's the summit, High Willhays. It's crazy how much windier it is just by climbing an extra few meters from what it was just back down there. Here's the summit. We're going to boot the summit, and then we've done it again for the second time on this channel. High Willhays, highest point in Devon, highest point in the south of England. Stunning views. Very bloody windy. Hopefully you can hear me this time, because last time I was up here I didn't have the wind cover on the microphone. So hopefully this time you can actually hear what I'm saying. Stand down here just on this side of the summit cairn. It's got a bit of shelter from the wind, but wow, that was so much windier up there. So the bit, I was literally just walking along this bit and there was hardly any wind. I mean, there was wind, but it wasn't much. We get up there, I can't even hear myself think. I don't know if you guys could hear me. I hope you can with the wind mic on the GoPro now. Look at the shadows rolling across the hills down there. Oh, it's incredible up here. See all the way out to fayre right out in the distance there, right out in the middle of the moor. I think that might be Great Knee-set over there, could be wrong. And you pan around. This is Dinger Tor on the near side there. We went there last week. I did East Mill Tor at the same time. It's glorious up here. That's Hanging Stone Hill right off in the background there. Big box on top of the hill. Got Oakman Hill just down here. The trail leading all the way up to the top. There's a military bunker on top of it as well. That's what you can see in the middle there. If I can zoom in far enough. And you've got Watton Tor out on the horizon. And Wild Tor's just in front of it somewhere. Can't find it on the camera now. There it is. Wild Tor. Steeperton Tor just along here. It's another box on a hill. That one's got a flagpole on it as well. The camera will focus. And it's just starting to rain. Great. Just as I'm as far away as possible from the car. There's Yes Tor up there. Hopefully the rain will stop in a second. There's not much of it coming down. There is nobody about today. It's Bank Holiday Monday. No one around. Maybe everyone else looked at the weather forecast. I'll just poke you around the corner so we can have a look at the other side. But it's very windy up here. You can feel the wind the second I step out from behind the summit cairn. That's Sawton Tor's down there. That's Corn Ridge. Branscombe's Loaf on top of it. Kitty Tor's over here somewhere. That's Great Links Tor off in the background, rising up above it. It looks taller than High Willhays from this angle, but it's definitely not. Oh, I'm getting back behind the summit. Well, the rain's kind of stopping, kind of not. I don't really know what it's doing, to be honest, but there's only a few drops, so it's not too bad. I love the views up here. You can see all the way down where we've come from. West Mill Tor looks tiny from up here. It looked giant when we were walking underneath it. Row Tor's somewhere down behind it. You can't see it from here. And the car park's down on the other side of Row Tor. There's East Mill Tor, which we did last week as well. Same time as Dinger Tor. There's the Bellstone Ridge in the background. Done all of those tours on the channel as well. We've done a fair bit of this side of the moor. And when you're up at High Willhays, you can see pretty much all of this northern section of the moor in all its glory, even if it is raining. Right, I'm going to put the handy cam away because it's not waterproof, and we'll just switch to the GoPro for a little bit. Well, that's typical. I've put the handy cam away and it immediately stops raining, straight away. There's the summit cairn, so I'm sheltered down on this side, and I'm going to show you now just how much of a difference it makes, because I'm going to step, what, 3 feet higher than I am now, just up onto this bit round the side of the summit cairn, and watch how much windier it gets. Or is the wind going to have stopped as well now? Nope, nope, the wind has definitely not stopped. It's a lot windier up here. There's no one around. No one here at all. Oh, you can see the rain coming down over there because it's falling in sheets. Wind's coming from roughly that direction, so I think I've got some more rain coming, so I'm going to start making a move in a minute. Oh, that's windy. Holding on to the hat. Oh. Right, let's go back down here in the shelter. Just before I make a move, we'll talk a little bit about the backpack. So it's a citizen camping backpack. You can see it there. It's an interesting choice, obviously. It's not something I'd go out and buy normally, but like I said, it was in the boot fair just down the road, which, if you're American, I don't know if you have boot fairs in America. I know I've got a few subscribers from America, so hello to all of you. That's like a like a yard sale, I think you call them out there. But it was £3, I think, or £3.50, I think it might have been. And yeah, I think for that price, you can't really say no, can you? Like, even if I just used it for this one video and it was uncomfortable, I never used it again, it's cost me £3. so it's perfectly fine. It's got 4 large pockets on the side, which I'm not really using for anything. I think I've got some bits in here, like I think I've got some like hand sanitizer, plasters, just in case I got blisters and stuff like that, but a couple of snacks, that's about it. It's got a front pocket here, which I'm not using. This is only a short walk, obviously. This is designed for camping. It's got this strap down the bottom that you can, or not strap, sorry, a strut down the bottom that you can put the tent, I guess, across, or maybe your sleep mat. And then it's got a big section, it ties down, so I've got to untie it one-handed now. But it's got a big section in here. Put your bits in, so I've got my water bottle in there, I've got, if it stays open, I've got like my waterproof, which I thought I was going to put on, but maybe I won't have to because it's stopped. I've got some sun cream and stuff in there as well, just kind of mimicking what I'd normally take out, but I've not got all my camping gear in. And then it's got a massive pocket down the bottom here, which is almost as big as this main section up the top. It's surprisingly light as well. Again, I know we did this with the backpack the other day. You can't tell just from me doing that, but it is very light, trust me. I've not got a scale to weigh it. And yeah, it's not the colour I'd have picked. I'd maybe pick something a little bit more discreet, maybe like green or something like that, but bright orange is fine, I guess. It didn't seem to anger the cows when I walked past them. They didn't charge me, so that's all good. So pros, I would say there's a lot of storage in there, and it would be fine for camping. I'm sure I'll get camping gear in there, no problem. I know Elusive Dartmoor commented on my video yesterday that that he uses a 25 litre backpack to get all his camping gear in. So something like this, I think this is 40 litres. Like, shockingly, because I bought it at a boot fair, they didn't know the exact literage. But yeah, I think it was I think it's a 40 litre capacity in this one, so that'd be easily enough for me to go camping with. But definitely my my little Kitter £18 charity shop day pack was not enough. The wind's blowing the top open, great. So yeah, it's lighter than I thought it was going to be when I first saw it. It's more comfortable actually on my back than I thought it was going to be when I bought it. It's a lot more comfortable. But the downsides, I don't like the way it closes with the tie down like laces essentially. I prefer just a zip or a clip to close it into like the modern backpacks have. And it's just so bulky. It sticks out on all sides of you. You'll be able to see it in the videos, like the tripod shots of me walking, how big and bulky it looks when it's on. But it's comfortable, it's lightweight, and it's got me up here perfectly fine, and hopefully it's going to get me back down perfectly fine, because it's starting to rain now, so I'm going to make a move. And yeah, let's get this back on, let's get this tied up, and we'll start heading back. There we go, we're leaving High Willhays now, all packed up and moving. It's only been, how long has it been? An hour and 25 minutes since I left the car, and I reckon I was up there for about 15 minutes. So what, an hour and 10 to get up here, and that's stopping and doing tripod shots and stuff like that. So it's really not a massively long walk. I said at the beginning, didn't I, it'd probably only be a couple of hours. It's obviously gonna be a little bit more than that because I've stopped to do the tripod shots, but yeah, it's surprised me, I think, a little bit, this backpack. I was expecting this, to be honest, to be quite an uncomfortable walk this morning. I wasn't really looking forward to it. I thought I was going to be getting jabbed in the back by the metal struts, and I thought I was going to be constantly readjusting it, and it wasn't going to be comfortable. It was going to be very annoying. It was going to be very heavy. But it hasn't been like that at all. It's a lot lighter than I thought it would be. It's a lot more comfortable. When I've got it on, like when I'm walking like this, it doesn't really feel like I'm carrying, I know it's not fully laden, but it doesn't feel like I'm carrying that much extra weight to normal. It certainly feels well within the realms of a normal backpack, even though obviously it's not fully packed, as I said. It doesn't feel uncomfortable either. I think, again, if it was fully packed, if you did have a full pack, these straps might be cutting into you a little bit because they're not kind of super padded, but there is a little bit of padding there. So they might still be okay. The only thing really with it is that it does just feel bulky on your back. Like, you can feel that it's kind of right out to the sides here, and especially kind of when you turn your head, you can just see it in the corner of your eye. But yeah, I did think, and I guess it's why you shouldn't have kind of preconceived notions, but I did think when I was coming out that it might not be a particularly fun walk today, and that I was going to be moaning the whole time about how uncomfortable it was, and oh, how did they do this back in the 70s and the 80s. I think this is a 70s backpack. The guy who I bought it from seemed to think it was from like 78, but he said he couldn't remember. So either like 78, late 70s, early 80s, something like that, I would guess. But yeah, I thought I was going to be saying like, oh, how did they used to do this? How did anyone used to go hiking back then? But I can completely see how they used to go hiking back then. It's not bad at all. And I think when I actually go camping, it might actually be handy having the external frame to the backpack, because I can strap my tent to the outside or my roll mat to the outside if it doesn't fit in the main compartment. It's nice and sunny over there, look. Down off of the moor, if we'd have gone hiking in those fields, we'd have been having a lovely day. Set them up here, and it's kind of, I don't even know what to describe that it's doing at the moment, because I'm getting wet, but it's not really raining. It's just kind of like the wind's blowing moisture onto me. Gorgeous view out that way. Camera doesn't do it justice, but trust me when I say it all looks stunning. They call this ridge line in between High Willhays up there and Yestor straight in front of us, they call this the roof of Devon. There's the highest points in Devon, highest points in the south of England, and just connected by this ridge line running along the top. And there's gorgeous views off both sides. When you get to High Willhays, there's a gorgeous view in that direction to the south. When you get to Yestor, there's a gorgeous view in that direction to the north. And yeah, you can see what the views are like that way. That way is just all moorland, all Dartmoor, and then this way is just Devon, kind of northwest Devon over there. But it is stunning. Ugh. And it is wet up here as well. It rained a lot during the night. This isn't all just come down now. It didn't rain too much when I was up at the top. It literally rained as I was packing everything away, and as usual, by the time I got my waterproof on, it had pretty much stopped. But like I say, it's still kind of moisture in the air that's just getting blown onto me by this wind. I have noticed now I'm up in the wind a bit as well. It's the backpack's kind of flopping around a bit more. I don't know if you can hear that, and that's because of the way I've tied it up. I think as I was leaving, I've not tied the stand up properly like it was earlier, so it's now kind of flopping about a little bit. So when I get down out of the windiest bit, I might stop and redo that so it's not jangling about a bit, because that's already starting to get a bit annoying, and I've got to walk all the way back to the car yet. Just making our way past Yestor now, heading back down this trail. Sun's come out again, birds are singing, nobody around. Did get a little bit wet back there, but it's not too bad. You can see it's pretty much dry already. And the backpack's done well. I am surprised by it, but I know it'll work if I do get the camping stuff together fairly soonish, before I've got a proper camping backpack. I know I can take this one out and it'll be perfectly fine. Well, at least I hope it will be. It seems like it will be, based on today. Might feel different, I guess, when it's fully laden. Might be quite a bit heavier, but based on today's evidence, I think it will be all right. So there we go. That's just a little video testing out my new, old, vintage external frame backpack that I bought for £3 from a boot fair. Something a little bit different. It's typical. I'm signing off and the sun's back out. It's glorious again, although I do still think it's going to rain more. Looking dark over that way. That's where the clouds are coming from. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video. Something a little bit different, but if you're thinking of buying a vintage backpack, then yeah, I guess this is the video for you. I don't expect many of you are, but it's yeah, it's nice to kind of experience how they maybe used to go and hike back in the sort of 70s and 80s with these backpacks. And like I say, it's really surprised me. I was expecting this to be really heavy, really cumbersome, really annoying and uncomfortable, but it's not. It's light, it's comfortable, it's a bit bulky, but it's fine. I wouldn't want to do any kind of scrambling or climbing in this. I think you want a modern backpack for that, but for a hike, even for a long hike, I mean, this has been absolutely fine getting up to High Willhays. It's not a particularly long one. I think it's about 5 miles, 5.5 miles, if I remember right, from Routor car park to High Willhays and back down again. It's not a long hike, but I have hiked up to the highest point on Dartmoor, and the backpack's done me proud. It's quite warm now, the sun's out, in this waterproof. But I would say the backpack, 7 out of 10, would use again. It's yeah, light, comfortable, just a little bit bulky. But when I go camping, I think that bulkiness might actually come into its own in terms of being able to store something, maybe like the tent or the sleeping mat, on the outside of the pack, so I can just strap it to the external frame. I think that's how I've seen people use external frame backpacks before. So yeah, maybe I'll give that a go soon when I've actually bought some camping gear. And yeah, I don't know where I'll camp actually. There's something to ponder. If you've got any suggestions on places to camp on Dartmoor, drop them in the comments, and yeah, maybe I'll use your suggestion to pick my first wild camping spot, because I've never done any wild camping before, so it'll be my first time ever when I do go out camping on Dartmoor, and I will at some point. But yeah, any locations that you've camped in before? I know Summit Seekers, they camped on Great Staple Tour the other week, and that looked like a really nice place to camp. That was a great video from them, so check that out if you haven't seen it. But yeah, any suggestions at all of where to camp, drop me in the comments and let me know. Thanks for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching the video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I'll see you again soon for another adventure. Cheers.